wanted to address a question that I get asked, and this is a very good question, about how to distinguish the difference between the three levels of the mind, or what we call the three selves, in terms of certain aspects. And of course this painting is symbolically pertains to the three aspects of the self, the higher self, the conscious mind, and the subconscious mind. And well, everybody gets the conscious mind, right? Because that's the one most people think of when you say the word mind. They think of the thinking, rationalizing, the voice in your head that's always talking to you and telling you stuff, and maybe even the multiple personalities. Nobody likes to admit this, but we all have what we call sub-personalities, and we got several people inside of there, and they're always debating and arguing and trying to prove their, everybody's got a perspective and a take on stuff, but it's the language, conceptual, speaking, talking aspect of the mind that most people refer to as thinking. And of course the subconscious mind, which could be equated to the right hemisphere, which is more the intuitive, feeling, emotional aspect of the mind. But when we get to the subconscious, part of the problem that some people have, or where there's a real breakdown in understanding takes place, is that the conscious mind thinks in abstract terms. You hear people all the time, well, they'll say things like, I just want to be happy. It's like that tells you nothing about so we have to ask questions like, okay, well, what is it that if you were doing it, would you imagine would cause you to feel happy? We have to associate a behavior to it. We have to create an experience out of it that makes it subjective. So the subconscious mind, it needs an experience, so it'll take a concept or a rational, logical thought that's abstract and doesn't have any meaning, and it turns it into an actual experience that would give it that emotional quality. It thinks in terms of feelings, emotions, impressions, sensations, okay? So when you hear, you gotta be careful saying this because I could get in trouble, but if you understand the language barrier that takes place between the conscious and the subconscious mind, because the subconscious needs a picture, it needs a reality. It says, okay, don't talk to me in words, give me an experience, okay? That I can wrap myself around, and that I can kind of use like a memory, because subconscious mind works out of memory. And so when you see these hypnosis type stuff that's telling you that it's programming the subconscious mind with talk, right, and objective talk on top of abstract talk, it's actually not, okay, because the subconscious mind works through guided imagery. When the talking takes place, the talking is provoking images, a storyline, an archetypal figure that's on an adventure of some sort. That's the language of the subconscious mind. So talking is purely a conscious factor. And the other thing and because of this, I should say, because of this, I'm sure many of you have heard the idea that the subconscious mind, or the mind, okay, doesn't know how to process or interpret a negative, okay? Here's another huge mistake that we make, that if we truly understand how the mind works, we'll never fall for this again. And that is, the mind works, this is principles, called principles. The mind works by simply, a thought gets introduced, it pictures it in its mind, and it starts thinking about it. And as it thinks about it, it's what we call creates a whole reality out of it. So there's no such thing as, okay, tell yourself that you're not going to learn how to do this, or tell yourself that you're going to quit smoking, you're not a smoker, you're not. It doesn't work, because the subconscious mind has to picture in its mind what it is it's not supposed to do, and that is the program for the subconscious mind. Telling it you're not going to smoke, it imagines smoking, and that's the program. It doesn't know how to say, okay, now that I've imagined myself smoking, I'm going to imagine that I'm not smoking. It doesn't work that way. So the subconscious mind does not work by negative commands. You don't talk to it about what you don't want it to do. You talk to it only about the behavior that you want to produce, the ideas in terms of images, experiential type things of the command you want to perform. And you don't even address the rest, okay? But a lot of people don't really get this, so they fall for things that clearly are not, they don't work, they're not valuable. You know, if you kind of understand a few basic things, you won't even fall for them. And the subconscious mind, the superconscious, this is what's often referred to as the inspired mind, right? And this is what many artists, many inventors refer to as kind of, it feels as if you're being downloaded with whole ideas. They grasp whole concepts, and then they have to try and capture those ideas, hold them in their mind, think about them, so that they can kind of, by capturing, I mean being able to take something and then start seeing it in detail, start seeing it in complexity, and allowing it to unfold inside of you without losing it. It's kind of like a dream. When you have a dream and you wake up and you have to like hurry up and think about it and hold it in your mind so that you don't lose it the minute you start walking. But it works on archetypal or universal themes that come as whole ideas that are then brought in between the right brain and the left brain, or the conscious and the subconscious. We take that whole idea and we bring it into personal expression in our own life by creating an experience out of it that we then talk, or we call forth into reality, so to speak, by how we talk, expectations that we set, beliefs that we form around it, that type stuff. But so this is the inspired, intuitive aspect, where entire ideas are given to us to express in kind of a unique way. And this is the basis of archetypal images. This is why it's very important to get or to understand the nature of an archetype, because this is the divine communication. This is the higher self, and how it brings expression into the lower self and kind of into physical reality is through the archetypal universal themes that come as whole ideas that are very inspiring. They jazz us up. They juice us up, and we get excited about stuff, and we get that enthusiasm going, which we go out and you know, buzz dazzle and make it happen. So, but those are the three basic ideas of how the minds work in sync with each other, and to kind of give you they all have different languages, and they're not meant to be foreign to each other. They're meant to provide a whole process of something very abstract and universal to be able to come through into and create a personal experience of it as a unique variation, or in a you know, a wondrous variety, or in completely new and unique ways every time. So, but that's just kind of like a basic idea of the basic functions and the principles that govern the three aspects of the mind. So I hope that answers the question and gives you a better idea. But certainly join us in our educational programs in our school, where we go into depth about the spiritual knowledge and all the aspects of the self, and help you to really get a good feel for your own equipment, so to speak, and how to operate it in a much more intentional and purpose way to create in your life. So, thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you.